Part 36. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 354. Not long after, some powerful figures appeared again, carrying powerful cultivation aura. They were not masters, but they were much stronger than most of the monks present. Those were several monks in the Dan Formation realm. These Dan Formation realm monks basically arrived at the same time, and as soon as they appeared, they attracted the attention of many people. Among these monks, they were Yuan Yuhong of Taiwa Sword Sect and Pan Zhenjiang of Kunlun Immortal Sect. But at this moment, the clothes on both of them were in pieces, their bodies were full of scars, and even their breaths were a little weak. Yuan Yuhong and Pan Zhenjiang had just arrived from Jiangbei. Their cultivation was not as good as Li Hao's and their speed was naturally slower, so they arrived here at this moment. As soon as Yuan Yuhong and Pan Zhenjiang arrived, they saw their sect leader, Zhao Tianshen, and others. Yuan Yuhong directly went to Hua Taikong of Taiwa Sword Sect and said to Hua Taikong respectfully, "Metropolitan, why did you come back alone? Where did Du Shanjun go? Have you got the key to the secret realm?" Hua Taikong looked at Yuan Yuhong and couldn't help but frowned. He naturally saw Yuan Yuhong's injuries. He remembered that Yuan Yuhong was sent out together with Du Shanjun, the elder of another section. Why was Yuan Yuhong alone at the moment? Hua Taikong couldn't help but asked Yuan Yuhong in a deep voice. "Sect master, he is dead." Yuan Yuhong's face was shocked and he said weakly, When Hua Taikong heard Yuan Yuhong's words, his expression became condensed again. "Dead? Killed by who?" Hua Taikong asked coldly. A powerful momentum was released inadvertently, and an invisible force of oppression also spread out. Yuan Yuhong, who was already injured, suddenly turned pale at this moment, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Yuan Yuhong couldn't help but look in another direction, where there was a young man looking at him with a smile but not a smile. There was a coldness in his eyes, which made Yuan Yuhong's heart suddenly thump again. Yuan Yuhong thought of the contract signed in his body, but he did not dare to speak. Although Yuan Yuhong did not answer, Hua Taikong noticed Yuan Yuhong's eyes and expression, and couldn't help but look at Li Hao again. "Did he kill Du Shanjun?" Hua Taikong asked again coldly. However, Yuan Yuhong still did not speak and did not dare to speak. At the same time, on the other side, Pan Zhenjiang also went to Qiu Xingyun, the master of the Kunlun Immortal Sect, and paid his respects. "Metropolitan, what happened? Did you bring back the key to the secret realm?" Qiu Xingyun asked Pan Zhenjiang exactly the same question, his brows furrowed deeply. Pan Zhenjiang shook his head. Just like Yuan Yuhong, he didn't dare to say anything. He also looked at Li Hao. He felt the coldness in Li Hao's eyes, and his whole heart instantly fell to the bottom. There is a contract between the two, and his life depends on the other party's thoughts. When Li Hao saw this scene, a faint smile appeared on his face. Still not coming over. But at this moment, Li Hao said calmly to the two of them. As Li Hao finished speaking, Yuan Yuhong from the Taiwa Sword Sect and Pan Zhenjiang from the Kunlun Immortal Sect came directly in front of Li Hao, and then stood directly behind Li Hao, looking like Li Hao. "How looks like the master?" "Huh? What's going on? Then why do Yuan Yuhong of Taiwa Sword Sect and Pan Zhenjiang of Kunlun Immortal Sect listen to him so much? Damn it, just let them pass." When the monks around saw this scene, their hearts were instantly filled with turmoil, and they said in disbelief. At this moment, even Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun's expressions became extremely ugly at this moment, and they looked at Li Hao coldly. "You don't have to ask." Li Hao also looked at the two of them calmly and said in a deep voice. "I was the one who killed Mr. Dushan. The key to the secret realm is also with me. And they are already my slaves." Li Hao said directly again. But when Li Hao said these words, it caused a shock on the scene. What? He killed the elder of Tewa sword sect. He actually enslaved Yuan Yuhong and Pan Zhengzhang. Oh my god. Dot. As Li Hao's words fell, the whole place was shaken, and everyone's eyes fell on Li Hao. Boom. At this moment, Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun released a shocking cultivation aura instantly, making the atmosphere in the entire space become extremely depressing. Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun looked at Li Hao coldly. Very good. Very good. Qiu Xingyun said in a deep voice, but everyone could see the anger in Qiu Xingyun's voice at this moment. Kill one of my elders and enslave another. Boy, do you really think that you will be invincible after breaking through to the realm of divine transformation? Do you have to give an explanation today? Hua Taikong said coldly to Li Hao again. Explain? Haha. Li Hao laughed again when he heard what the other party said. I'm not invincible, but I'm more than enough to deal with you. Li Hao said bluntly again. As soon as Li Hao said these words, he immediately aroused countless exclamations of surprise. Crazy! How crazy! At this moment, even Mo Bai, Chu King II and others were shocked by Li Hao's words. The secret realm has not yet been opened. It seems that we have to watch a good show first. On the other side, Zhao Tianchen was also watching the scene with interest, muttering. Hee hee. Hua Taikong on the opposite side heard Li Hao's words, and surprisingly laughed, but the smile was filled with extreme coldness. Really crazy. No one has ever dared to talk to me like this. I want to see how you are going to deal with me. Boom. As Hua Taikong's voice fell, an unparalleled cultivation momentum instantly burst out from Hua Taikong's body. At this moment, Hua Taikong's powerful cultivation in the late stage of the God transformation realm was released without reservation. Is this the Grand Master realm cultivation? Oh my god, this is too powerful. I feel like I can't breathe. Hiss. At this moment, everyone was shocked by the powerful cultivation power of Hua Taikong. This is the cultivation of the God transformation realm, a master-level expert. The majestic power was rising and flowing on Hua Taikong's body, making his figure become extremely majestic. Li Hao's face was also condensed at this moment, and he felt a threat from the other party. The other party's cultivation was even stronger than his own, and Li Hao had only broken through to the God transformation realm not long ago. But Li Hao was not afraid. You have cultivation, I have means. God level tip. Report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 355. At this moment, Hua Taikong's powerful cultivation aura was released, shocking the whole audience. The powerful aura made everyone feel an extreme sense of oppression. This is clearly the rhythm of a fight. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock, but there was a hint of expectation in their hearts. This is a battle between masters. Such a battle is so rare. Some people have never seen it even until they die. This is a new master challenging the old master. At this moment, Mo Bai, Zhao Tianchen and others all had a hint of expectation in their eyes. They also wanted to see how strong this new young master was. Go ahead. Do you think you can be arrogant after becoming a master? I want to let you know the gap between us. At this time, Hua Taikong said to Li Hao in a stern voice. Boom. The powerful power of cultivation rose above his body, and his figure became extremely majestic. He looked at Li Hao coldly, and the powerful aura of oppression went directly to Li Hao. Li Hao frowned, and his eyes were filled with a sharp edge. Li Hao felt a strong pressure from the aura, but he remained calm. Haha. Just use whatever means you have. Be careful not to capsize. Li Hao sneered again and said in a deep voice. Boom. On Li Hao's body, a powerful cultivation force was instantly activated, and spiritual power flowed, bearing this pressure. Really crazy. In this case, then go to hell. Hua Taekong on the opposite side heard Li Hao's words, and his face couldn't help but turn cold again, and he immediately said to Li Hao in a stern voice. As Hua Taekong's voice fell, Hua Taekong's body suddenly gave birth to a sharp breath. Buzz buzz buzz. At this moment, there was an endless buzzing sound between heaven and earth. Then everyone saw that there was a dazzling light on Hua Taekong's body, which was the sword light. Endless sword light appeared on Hua Taekong's body. Hua Taekong stood there proudly, and an extremely strong sword intent was released from his body. Buzz. At this moment, the whole space was shaking. On Hua Taekong's body, a long sword appeared. The long sword was not a real object, but it was condensed by endless spiritual power. Thousands of long swords, accompanied by magnificent sword intent, were countless. Go. The next moment, Hua Taekong said to Li Hao in a stern voice, and then pointed at Li Hao. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, the sky was full of sword light, and the endless spiritual power long sword directly crossed the sky and went to Li Hao, turning into a rain of swords all over the sky, tearing the space apart. The sword energy was amazing. What an amazing sword energy! It's the Kinyan sword art of Tewa sword sect. What? It's the Kinyan sword art. No wonder it's so powerful. This is one of the most top-level sword arts of Tewa sword section. That guy is going to be miserable. At this moment, the surrounding cultivators saw this scene, and their eyes were filled with shock. There was a constant uproar. Someone recognized the sword technique used by Hua Taekong. It was one of the most powerful sword arts of Tewa sword sect, which was very powerful. As we all know, Tewa sword sect is one of the most powerful sects on the continent, and it is also a rare sword section. The people of its sect are all extremely powerful sword cultivators. Tewa Chong, the master of Tewa sword sect, is naturally no exception. Hua Taekong is also a powerful sword cultivator, and he is also the only sword master. Kendao, as the most powerful attack among the 3,000 great ways, the sword attack displayed by Hua Taekong at this moment is naturally extremely powerful. Boom! The rain of swords descended instantly, attacking Li Hao directly. It seemed that Li Hao was about to be drowned by the rain of swords. However, at this moment, Li Hao finally moved. Swordsmanship? I think I can do it too. Li Hao muttered, but a cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were sharp. Swordsmanship, it just happened to be something he was good at. Boom! As Li Hao's voice fell, Li Hao's body instantly released a powerful aura of cultivation, and the powerful cultivation of the early stage of the spiritual transformation realm was released. At the same time, Li Hao's body also had an amazing sword intent rushing into the sky. Buzz! As Li Hao released the sword intent. What an amazing sword intent! What? He is also a sword cultivator. Hiss! Oh my god, he is also a sword cultivator. One after another exclamations suddenly sounded, and countless cultivators only felt that at this moment, it seemed as if a huge sword was placed on their heads, and it seemed to fall. Interesting, interesting, really interesting. On the opposite side, Zhao Tianchen saw this scene, and a strange color flashed in his wise eyes. He did not expect that this newly promoted master was also a sword cultivator. Then he watched the scene with interest. At this moment, Qiu Xingyun on the other side saw this scene, and his brows suddenly condensed. He actually felt a threat from the opponent's sword intent. Buzz buzz buzz. The sound of endless swords also resounded. On Li Hao's body, there was also endless sword intent, and powerful sword energy rose up. It happened so fast that everything happened in an instant. From the time Hua Taekong performed the Kinyan sword technique to the time Li Hao performed the powerful sword intent at this moment, it was almost like thunder. On the opposite side, Hua Taekong looked at the majestic sword energy on Li Hao's body, and his eyes were instantly condensed. He did not expect that the other party was also a sword cultivator. However, Hua Taekong's eyes were even more cold, and he exerted the power of his body to the extreme, making the power of the Kinyan sword technique also exert its power to the extreme. At this moment, Li Hao's eyes were full of incomparable spiritual power. As the powerful sword intent spread over Li Hao's body, suddenly, there was another spiritual power storm flowing on Li Hao's body, and then a huge long sword appeared on Li Hao's body. It was a giant sword. The giant sword was horizontal on Li Hao's head, several feet long, and the tip of the sword pointed straight ahead, as if to cut off everything in front. But in the next moment, the giant sword actually stood up directly. "Open the mountain!" Li Hao shouted coldly. As Li Hao's voice fell, the giant sword slashed down in front of him. Boom! The sword slashed out, shaking the earth and mountains. Ka! The sword path shocked everyone. On the earth, there was a mountain in front, but with this amazing sword falling, a huge gully appeared. This mountain was slashed open by this sword. This is the real opening of the mountain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 356. One sword to open a mountain. The mountains were cut open and the earth was shaking. The sword fell, accompanied by extremely terrifying power. This sword is the first sword in Li Hao's Kaishin sword technique, the Kaishin sword. Although it was only the first sword, it released extremely terrifying power in Li Hao, who was at the Grand Master level. As Li Hao's sword fell, the sword rain that filled the sky also turned into annihilation with this sword. In an instant, there was a harsh sound between heaven and earth. It was the sound of sword energy colliding and tearing, along with the endless space being torn apart. Everyone was shocked to see that the giant sword was colliding with the rain of swords in the sky. Boom! In an instant, there was another deafening roar. Immediately afterwards, there was a dazzling sword light shining. The entire space trembled, and as the collision erupted, the broken sword energy shot out in all directions at this moment. Ah! Get out of the way! Dot. At this moment, the scene suddenly became chaotic, and some people screamed. A sword energy fell on them, catching them off guard, and some people were knocked back and spurted out a mouthful of blood. Is this the powerful master? This is too powerful. So scary. Dot. Another moment later. The scene then returned to calm. Everyone looked at the scene in shock, and their hearts were shocked to the extreme. At this moment, the scene was in chaos, and many monks even had blood marks on their bodies, all of which were injured by the sword energy that erupted from the collision between the two at this moment. The masters fought, but they suffered. These monks were extremely embarrassed and had already hid far away at this moment. Their eyes were horrified and filled with fear. They looked forward and sighed endlessly in their hearts. This is too powerful. This is a battle between masters and strong men. All I saw was the front. The rain of swords in the sky has disappeared, and the giant sword has also lost its trace. There are two figures, standing opposite each other. Li Hao's long hair was slightly messy, but there was still a sharp edge in his eyes, and his cultivation aura surged in his body, and he looked at the other party coldly. It can be seen that Li Hao's position at this moment has retreated a bit from before. Look at the other side. Hua Taekong also looked at Li Hao coldly at this moment. His eyes no longer had the pride as before, but there was some dignity in them. And at Hua Taekong's feet, there is a very obvious footprint. Hua Tai rushed and took a step back. Although it was just a step, it was a real step back. This newly promoted Grand Master has shaken the veteran Grand Master Hua Taekong. His Sect Master Hua actually retreated. How is this possible? At this moment, a series of shocking sounds sounded again, and there were even sounds of gasping for air. Besides being shocked, it's still shocking. Is this your method? It doesn't seem to be very good at all. But at this moment, Li Hao laughed again and said lightly. As Li Hao's voice fell, Hua Taikong's face became a little ugly. No one has ever dared to speak to him like this, but at this moment he cannot refute because the other party does have this strength. You are very strong. But even so, you are still far away. Do you think this is all I have? Hua Taikong's face darkened again, and he said sharply to Li Hao again. At this moment, Hua Taikong has already regarded Li Hao as a being of the same level, and he does not dare to underestimate him at all. To be able to shake him with his early cultivation of the God transformation realm, he has to be said to be really a bit of a monster. But Hua Taikong is the master of Tewa sword sect and a peak expert in the late stage of the God transformation realm. At this moment, in front of so many monks, he naturally cannot say anything weak. Hua Taikong's body still had a powerful release of cultivation aura, which was no weaker than before, and he looked like he was about to take action again. He. Hearing Hua Taikong's words, Li Hao sneered. How did you know that this is the only method I have? Li Hao said calmly again, returning Hua Taikong's words. In that case, let's try it. Hua Taikong said sharply again. Just give it a try. Li Hao was not timid at all, and an even more amazing aura suddenly filled the air. At this moment, the two powerful masters started arguing. A terrifying aura rose up from the two of them, and they were about to fight again. I advise you to go in and fight again, right? But at this moment, a voice came from one side again, a woman's voice. Everyone followed the sound and saw that the person who made the sound was Mo Bai from the Yaokai Immortal sect. Everyone looked at Mo Bai in confusion. I only heard Mo Bai say slowly again. This door to the secret realm has time. If it doesn't open, we will have to wait until next time. What? Next time? It will take hundreds of years. How is this okay? When the people around him heard Mo Bai's words, their faces suddenly changed color. They came here for this secret realm. This is an opportunity for everyone. If the secret realm cannot be opened, then no one can enter, the secret realm door will disappear, and they can only wait for the next opening, and the next time is unknown. How can this be possible? Everyone frowned. They believed in Mo Bai's words. Mo Bai was the leader of Yaokai Xianzong, and he was the one who knew the secret realm best. The next moment, everyone turned their eyes to Li Hao and Hua Taikong again. When Li Hao and Hua Taikong heard what Mo Bai said, their faces also condensed slightly. They also didn't know that the secret realm door had a time limit. Master Mo is right, let's open the secret realm door first. At this time, Qiu Xingyun on the side also said in a deep voice. But how to open the secret realm door? Someone else asked. The secret realm key. Someone said. Of course I know the secret realm key. But aren't there 4 secret realm keys? Someone else said. As we all know, there are 4 keys to the secret realm, but even if the new Grand Master has one, what about the others? Everyone looked at Mo Bai again. Mo Bai glanced at the people around him and said coldly. Are all the people with the keys to the secret realm here? Come out quickly. As Mo Bai's voice fell, there was a young man in the Jindan realm in the crowd. He hesitated for a moment, then walked out slowly. Everyone's eyes immediately fell on this young man. Someone really stood up. You have the key to the secret realm. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 357. Do you have the key to the secret realm? Hua Taekong also looked at the young man coldly and said to him in a deep voice. Countless eyes fell on the young man who came out. The young man felt the gazes of countless people, and his expression was condensed. He felt that his whole person was unnatural, and there was a huge force of oppression falling on him. The young man was startled and felt a little regretful. But at this moment, he had already stood up. The young man could only bite the bullet and slowly took out a necklace from his pocket. The pendant of the necklace was a jade pendant. When everyone saw the necklace in the young man's hand, a flash of brilliance flashed in their eyes. "Give me." Hua Taekong said sharply to the young man again. When the young man heard Hua Taekong's words, his expression froze for an instant, and a flash of hesitation flashed across the young man's face. "I told you, didn't you hear me?" When Hua Taekong saw the other party standing there stunned, he became a little angry and shouted angrily again. Boom! A strong momentum was instantly released from Hua Taekong, and a fierce offensive was directed towards the young man. That was a sword intent. Ah! The next moment, the young man let out a painful scream, his entire body was blown away, and blood spurted out from his mouth. Hua Taekong took action without saying a word, causing the young man to be seriously injured. Overbearing. How tyrannical this is. As the young man flew backwards, the necklace in the young man's hand flew out and was pulled directly towards Hua Taekong by a suction force. It was about to fall into Hua Taekong's hands. Boom! But at this moment, a powerful momentum suddenly emerged from one side. When everyone saw it, another figure actually grabbed the necklace. Who wants to seize food from the tiger's mouth? Who is so bold as to dare to snatch something from the master's hand? The next moment, everyone saw clearly that figure. It was Qiu Xingyun of the Kunlun immortal sect. Qiu Xingyun. When Hua Taekong saw this scene, he immediately shouted angrily, with a sharp sparkle in his eyes. Bang! A long sword appeared directly in Hua Taekong's hand, and he slashed forward in an instant, and then headed towards Qiu Xingyun's body with amazing sword energy. Boom! Bang! Qiu Xingyun had a powerful aura flowing around him, and his complexion changed slightly. The necklace was about to fall into his hands, but Hua Taekong's sword energy came instantly, with astonishing power. Qiu Xingyun had to resist. Boom! Suddenly, an astonishing roaring sound resounded, and Qiu Xingyun also had the power to directly block Hua Taekong's sword energy, but his figure was also stunned. Hua Taekong, this key is not yours. Of course it belongs to whoever grabs it. Qiu Xingyun said sharply to Hua Taekong. After Qiu Xingyun finished speaking, he moved towards the necklace again. Get away! Hua Taekong shouted angrily again, and his figure was also directly blasted away. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, everyone was shocked to see that the two great masters Hua Taekong and Qiu Xingyun actually started fighting directly because of this necklace. The scene was extremely shocking, and the entire space was shaking incomparably. The battle between the powerful masters was simply terrifying. Countless monks retreated further away, fearing that they would suffer unreasonable disasters. Not far away, the two great masters Mo Bai and Zhao Tianchen looked at the scene indifferently, with a strange look in their eyes, but they didn't know what they were thinking. Boom! What's there to grab? Give me the key to the secret realm first. I'll open the door to the secret realm first. If you don't open it again, you won't be able to get in this time. As Zhao Tianchen's words fell, Zhao Tianchen, who originally looked very ordinary, instantly released an extremely amazing momentum, directly reaching the sky. At this moment, the powerful momentum turned the entire sky upside down. Buzz! The whole space is shaking. At this moment, the cultivation momentum displayed by Zhao Tianchen was at the late stage of the divine transformation realm, but it was actually a bit more powerful than Hua Taekong and Qiu Xingyun. Boom! As Zhao Tianchen's power of cultivation was released, Everyone was shocked to see that Zhao Tianchen also released the power of nature, and then moved towards the fighting Hua Taikong and Xiu Zhengyuan. When Hua Taikong and the two people who were fighting saw this scene, their faces instantly became very ugly. They did not expect that even Zhao Tianchen would intervene. Bang 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 bang. At this moment, the battle situation suddenly became chaotic again. The three powerful masters fight together. Oh my god. This is too shocking. The three powerful masters are directly fighting for the key to the secret realm again. When Li Hao saw this scene, a strange color appeared in his eyes. The next moment, another thought flashed through Li Hao's mind. Immediately afterwards, a jade bracelet appeared in Li Hao's hand. Senior sister, the key to our secret realm. When Li Hao took out the jade bracelet, Chu King Ai's eyes widened and he said to Mo Bai beside him. This jade bracelet was snatched from her by Li Hao. Chu King Ai's voice was filled with anger, and her eyes were red as she looked at Li Hao. Mo Bai heard Chu King Ai's voice and looked at Li Hao with her beautiful eyes. She saw the jade bracelet in Li Hao's hand. That was the key to the secret realm in their sect. Daiyu, please return the key to the secret realm to me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Mo Bai looked at Li Hao again and said to him harshly. Boom. As Mo Bai's voice fell, a strong spiritual cultivation was released instantly, and the majestic power shook the sky. Haha. I won't give it back. Li Hao laughed disdainfully when he heard the other party's words. You. Mo Bai was angry again and couldn't speak. Boom. Mo Bai's body was filled with power, and a fierce attack was instantly launched towards Li Hao. Mo Bai's clothes fluttered, and there was a white silk ribbon in his sleeves that fanned towards Li Hao. Li Hao's body was also filled with spiritual light, and he directly engaged in a battle with Mo Bai. Bang 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 bang. The sound of collisions rang out again, and in an instant, the two had already collided dozens of times. Although Li Hao had just broken through to the spiritual transformation realm, he was not at all weak against Mo Bai. Buzz buzz buzz. The more they fought, the more shocked Mo Bai was in his heart, and his willow eyebrows were furrowed more deeply. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 358. Buzz buzz. But at this moment, when Li Hao and Mo Bai were fighting fiercely again, there was another shock between heaven and earth. Everyone saw that the statue under the portal actually started to tremble at this moment. The statue that was originally as solid as a substance seemed to have undergone some changes at this moment. The bottom of the statue began to slowly dissipate. Not good. But at this time, when Mo Bai saw this scene, his expression changed again. We really are running out of time. If we don't collect the keys to open the door to the secret realm, we will really be unable to enter the secret realm this time. No. Fellow Taoist, no fighting. No fighting. Mo Bai suddenly stepped aside and said to Li Hao, but stopped his offensive. Li Hao also stood straight. Don't fight. Keep fighting. I'm not satisfied yet. Li Hao said with a smile. The two of them fought just now, but they were very close to each other and had a lot of physical contact. Li Hao actually felt that it was a bit good. Moreover, Li Hao didn't fight much to begin with. Now as he fought with the opponent, Li Hao surprisingly discovered that not only did his cultivation power become stronger, but he also had many more fighting skills. Fellow Taoist, I don't want the key to this secret realm anymore. Please find the other ordinary keys as soon as possible. If you don't find it, you won't be able to enter this secret realm. Mo Bai said to Li Hao again, and even his tone became a little softer. Actually asked Li Hao. Are you begging me? Li Hao looked at Mo Bai calmly and said. When Mo Bai heard Li Hao's words, his pretty face changed slightly, but at this moment, he made a huge determination in his heart. So be it. Mo-bai said with difficulty. Senior sister, you. Next to him, Chu King I's eyes widened when he heard Mo-bai's words. He looked at the senior sister next to him in disbelief and didn't understand why the senior sister had to give in. If we don't open it again, we won't be able to get in this time. Junior sister, you must know that we still have a mission when we go in this time. Mo-bai said to Chu King I in a deep voice again. Task. Chu King I was stunned for a moment, but the next moment, her heart suddenly condensed. Chu King I's expression suddenly changed again. She thought of something. When Li Hao heard what the other party said, there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. It seemed that this secret realm was very important to this Mo-bai, and he would actually give in to him. That's pretty much it. If you want to go in, just stay close by. Li Hao immediately grinned and said, and actually asked Mo-bai to guard him. However, surprisingly, Mo-bai actually stood not far away from Li Hao in a lively manner, and then released his powerful cultivation aura, and his eyes burst out with fierceness. Mo-bai actually stood beside Li Hao to protect him. When Li Hao saw this scene, a smile suddenly appeared on his lips. Really obedient. The next moment, Li Hao did not hesitate and directly put the jade bracelet on his hand. At this moment, a strange force seemed to emerge from the jade bracelet, and then entered Li Hao's body. At this moment, a strange wave radiated from the jade bracelet, and then went in all directions. Li Hao even closed his eyes, and Li Hao's power of perception could not help but follow the waves and sense the surroundings. After 2 breaths, Li Hao suddenly opened his eyes. A glint flashed in Li Hao's eyes, but his gaze looked directly in one direction. Among the crowd, there was a little girl standing on a stone. A look of surprise suddenly appeared in Li Hao's eyes. The little girl was only 7 or 8 years old, and she was cute and well behaved. But beside the little girl, there was a woman. The woman was dressed plainly, and she was following a middle-aged man with a fat head and big ears. The woman's cultivation level is not high and she is only in the early stage of foundation establishment realm, but this middle-aged man is a monk in the middle stage of core formation realm. Li Hao's eyes fell on the little girl, specifically in the little girl's hands. The little girl was playing with a jade ring in her hand. This jade ring is clearly made of the same material as the jade bracelet on Li Hao's wrist. Just now, Li Hao was wearing this jade bracelet and clearly felt that there was a corresponding connection between the jade ring and the bracelet. In other words, this jade ring is also a secret key. Following Li Hao's gaze, Mo-bai's gaze instantly moved towards the little girl, and naturally he also saw the jade ring. Mo-bai's eyes suddenly burst out with a sparkle, and there was even a touch of joy. Needless to say, Li Haduo said that Mo-bai's figure had already moved directly and was in front of the little girl in an instant. Little girl, would you give me this jade ring in your hand? Mo-bai said directly to the little girl. The little girl looked at Mo-bai timidly and hid beside the woman. Mo-bai's actions caught the eyes of everyone around him, making them feel surprised again. Is this also the key to the secret realm? At this moment, the fat middle-aged man next to the little girl opened his eyes wide and said in disbelief. The maid's daughter he picked up actually had a secret realm key in her hand. Guoer, give it to her quickly. At this moment, the woman next to the little girl said again. She should be the little girl's mother. She also felt a strong sense of oppression at this moment. The woman in front of her should be a master, so she naturally cannot offend him. She did not expect that the jade ring she picked up by chance would be the key to this secret realm. The little girl stood there in a daze, but she was unwilling. This was her only toy. Guoer. When the woman saw this scene, she immediately took the jade ring from the little girl's hand and handed it directly to Mo-bai. Wow wow wow. The next moment, the little girl burst into tears and was extremely sad. Mo-bai took the jade ring and a stunning smile appeared on his face. Another key was found. There are 3 keys in total, and only the last one is left. Where is the last key? Mobi put the jade ring on her slender jade finger without hesitation. Suddenly, a strange connection appeared in her perception, and she sensed the whereabouts of the last secret realm key. Suddenly, Mobi widened her eyes again and looked in one direction. The 4th key is also on you. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 359. Mobi's eyes widened and he looked at Li Hao in disbelief. The 4th key is also on this guy's body? What if? Li Hao looked at Mobi and said calmly, wondering why this woman was so unaware. If it wasn't with him, how could Chu King Ai find him and bring her the keys to the secret realm? Mobi's heart moved again. If this was the case, there was no need to look for it anymore. The next moment, Mobi looked at the statue in front of him again, and then moved directly to the front of the statue. Seeing it, the statue had become somewhat illusory, and even the lower part had begun to dissipate. Seeing this scene, Mobi no longer hesitated and put the jade ring in his hand directly on the finger of the statue. The jade ring seemed to be integrated with the statue. Buzz buzz. The moment the jade ring was put on the finger of the statue, the earth began to tremble, and then everyone saw a bright light shining from the statue. At the same time, everyone saw that there was also an extremely powerful light emerging from the portal. A strange power emerged from the portal, and the forbidden leaves on the portal surged accordingly. This scene fell into the eyes of everyone around, making everyone's hearts tremble again. It's your turn. At this time, Mobi, who had finished all this, looked at Li Hao again and said to Li Hao in a deep voice. When Li Hao heard Mobi's words, a faint smile appeared on his face. Then, Li Hao's figure also took a step directly towards the door. With one step forward, his figure also came to the front of the statue. Li Hao didn't hesitate at all and put the bracelet directly on the statue. Buzz buzz. In an instant, an even brighter light suddenly burst out from the statue, strange fluctuations occurred deep inside, and the portal shook again at this moment. It could be faintly seen that a closed door appeared in the portal, and the door slowly opened a gap at this moment. The door to the secret realm is about to be opened. There are 2 more keys. When everyone saw this scene, they were suddenly shocked again. As long as the door is open, they will rush straight through without hesitation. And at this moment, the 3 powerful masters who were fighting fiercely now stopped again. Everyone saw that the necklace had fallen into the hands of the god. At this moment, Zhao Tianchen stood proudly in the void, and in front of him, Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun looked at Zhao Tianchen with cold faces. Zhao Tianchen actually took the necklace from their hands. Although they were both in the late stage of the god transformation realm, Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun still felt the gap between them and Zhao Tianchen. There's no need to continue arguing. If you want to argue, let's go in first and then talk. Zhao Tianchen said proudly to the 2 of them again. Then go in and fight again. Hua Taikong said coldly, but he felt very unhappy in his heart. As for Qiu Xingyun, he didn't speak. As a result, Zhao Tianchen also moved and came directly to the front of the statue, next to Li Hao. The next moment, Zhao Tianchen directly put the necklace on the neck of the statue. Buzz buzz. Suddenly, the whole world trembled violently again. Everyone saw that the light above the gate became more dazzling, and then the cracked gap became a little larger. All 3 keys to the secret realm have been worn on this statue, except for the last one. Little brother, it's your turn again. Zhao Tianchen looked at Li Hao again and said directly to Li Hao. At the same time, eyes fell on Li Hao. In the midst of everyone's attention, another jade hairpin appeared in Li Hao's hand. Is this the last key to the secret realm? It's really unbelievable. He actually has 2 keys to the secret realm on his body. Hurry up and open it, I can't wait. Dot. One voice after another couldn't help but come out from the mouths of the monks around them. Everyone looked at Li Hao closely, their eyes full of expectation. At this moment, Li Hao looked at the statue in front of him. The statue had lifelike long hair on its head, which was coiled up and had a hole. In the eyes of everyone, Li Hao finally moved again and directly inserted the hosta in his hand on the head of the statue. Buzz buzz. At this moment, the heaven and earth suddenly trembled tremendously again. This tremor was more violent than the previous times. Incomparably bright brilliance emitted from this portal, and the divine light shone brightly, making the sky light up for it. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw that the door in front was slowly pushed open by an invisible force. The door to the secret realm was completely opened at this moment. The restrictions on this portal seemed to have dissipated at this moment. Inside the gate, it seemed like nothingness, but when everyone saw this scene, they were completely shocked. But at this moment, an invisible force emerged from the statue. Everyone saw that the rings, bracelets, necklaces, and hostas on the statue, which were the 4 keys to the secret realm, actually at this moment, it dissipated directly and turned into 4 spiritual lights. Buzz. The 4 spiritual lights shot forward directly. Then, everyone was shocked to see that the 4 spiritual lights turned into 3 directions. One of them went towards Zhao Tianshen, another went towards Mo Bai, and the last 2 went directly towards the direction where Li Hao was. In an instant, the 4 spiritual lights fell directly on Li Hao and the other 2, and suddenly there was a brilliant spiritual light on the 3 people's bodies, which wrapped the bodies of the 3 people. In the next moment, an invisible force wrapped the 3 people. Whoosh! Then everyone was shocked to see that the bodies of the 3 people who were originally standing there actually disappeared directly on the spot. Why are they gone? Oh my God, are they going in? Dot. Surprised voices suddenly rang out in the scene again. Where else could the 3 people go? They must have gone to the secret realm. And the 3 people were clearly sent in by the power contained in the key to the secret realm. If you go in first, does it mean that you can take the lead and maybe get the opportunity first? At this moment, even Hua Taikong and Qiu Xingyun looked a little ugly. Not good. Hua Taikong saw the scene and rushed towards the door. Boom. The next moment, Hua Taikong entered the door directly and disappeared. Almost at the same time, Qiu Xingyun also went to the door and soon entered the door and disappeared. Go. The door to the secret realm is open. Dot. The surrounding cultivators saw the scene and exclaimed again. Then, one figure after another, a powerful aura of cultivation suddenly emerged, and one figure after another rose from the ground and rushed towards the direction of the door. The scene suddenly became out of control and extremely chaotic. Everyone rushed towards the door of the secret realm. Let's go. We'll go in too. At this moment, even Sanyang Genren couldn't help it, and said directly to Zhou Kunlun and others beside him, and then he moved directly and rushed towards the direction of the portal. Figures rushed towards the gate of the secret realm one after another, and then disappeared one after another. But after a few breaths, buzz buzz buzz, the world actually trembled again. The statue actually began to dissipate directly at this moment. After only 2 breaths, the statue seemed to have never appeared and completely disappeared. It was also at this moment. Bang bang bang. There was another dull sound, but it was seen that one after another, as if a huge force had hit them and they were blown away. Puff. Suddenly, there were sounds of blood spurting out continuously, and some monks were extremely embarrassed and looked at the scene in horror. How could this happen? Why can't I get in? What's going on? Oh my God. Why does the secret door seem to be closed? Dot. The voice of disbelief suddenly rang out again, and they all looked at the door, and their faces suddenly became extremely ugly again. They saw that the door was closed again. The secret door was closed. It was just a few breaths late. Some people had already entered, but they could never enter again. Ah! How could this happen? I want to go in. I've been waiting for many years. Some people made an unwilling sound, and they rushed towards the secret door again with the power of cultivation. Bang! Puff! But then, there was another dull sound. Those monks were blown away again, and blood spit out from their mouths. And in the next moment, even the door disappeared, as if it had never appeared. Everything vanished, and the world regained its clarity and peace. In front of him, the door to the secret realm had disappeared. No. A cultivator made a sad voice, and the voice was filled with strong unwillingness. However, everything could not be changed. Li Hao only felt a flash in front of his eyes, as if he had traveled through countless distances. It seemed to last for a long time, and it seemed to be just a moment, but the surrounding scenery was different. At this moment, Li Hao seemed to be in another world. There are mountains, trees, and rivers here. The sky here is gray, without the sun and the moon, and it is very dim. There are no other people around, and Li Hao doesn't know where he is at this moment. Is this the secret realm? Li Hao looked at the surrounding scenes and muttered. The surrounding space is still filled with a layer of fog, blocking the line of sight, so that the line of sight cannot see too far. Li Hao frowned slightly. Everything here is unknown, that's not good. The next moment, Li Hao directly activated his spiritual power. But soon, Li Hao discovered that there seemed to be an invisible force in the void, like a forbidden force, blocking his spiritual power. Li Hao's brows suddenly frowned a little deeper. However, Li Hao also discovered something that surprised him. The aura here is really rich, and its level is even better than that in the world of your own system. You know, there are spiritual veins planted by yourself in the world of your own system, but here, it is like it is the aura condensed over time. Li Hao immediately activated his cultivation power and began to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. However, Li Hao did not stay where he was. Staying here is not an option. The reason why I came in is to explore this place. So, Li Hao simply walked forward, regardless of the direction, because it was impossible to tell the difference between east, west, and north. Li Hao found a direction and headed straight ahead. But soon, Li Hao stopped again. Li Hao's eyes fell directly on a huge green plant in front of him. He saw that the plant was more than 10 feet tall, but it was divided into sections. And between each node, there is a star-shaped leaf, for a total of 9 nodes and 9 leaves. Is this the 9-star grass? Li Hao looked at the plant, his eyes widened, and read out the name of the elixir. This is obviously an extremely rare elixir. Its name is 9-star grass. It has the miraculous effect of healing the powerful spiritual power of the soul. Moreover, the 9-star grass in front of you is more than 1 foot tall. I'm afraid it must be hundreds of years old, right? Li Hao's eyes suddenly felt excited. If this 9-star grass is sold, it will cause many people to fight for it. Without hesitation, Li Hao activated his cultivation power, pulled up the 9-star grass, and threw it into his system. After doing all this, Li Hao continued to move forward. However, it didn't go far. Li Hao saw another elixir. Is this purple sunflower? It must be at least 100 years old. It is a purple spiritual grass. There are some strange lines on the leaves and branches. The whole body is shining with spiritual light. It is also very tall. It is not much better than the 9-star grass just now. It is clearly another kind of spiritual grass. The name is Xianko. Li Hao collected the purple sunggrass again without hesitation, feeling happy in his heart. What luck! In this moment, 2 brightling grasses were collected. Li Hao then walked forward. Is that Tianyang Hua again? There is also 100-year-old black wood. 100-year-old black fungus. Hiss. After a moment, excitement appeared in Li Hao's eyes again, and Li Hao couldn't help but take a breath. When Li Hao saw one spiritual grass after another appearing in front of his eyes, Li Hao's whole body became agitated. Here, there are spiritual grasses everywhere. What luck! God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 360. There are really spiritual medicines everywhere here, and they are very old spiritual medicines, basically more than 100 years old. If you sell any of these spiritual medicines, it will cause a huge sensation. And here, they are everywhere. Li Hao could only see a distance of more than 10 meters, but he saw no less than 10 kinds of spiritual medicines in such a small range. Li Hao was excited. So many spiritual medicines, naturally, could not be missed. So, Li Hao threw all these spiritual medicines into his system world without saying a word. Li Hao walked forward and collected all these spiritual medicines into his system world. In just a moment, Li Hao had obtained 20 or 30 100-year-old spiritual medicines. Moreover, Li Hao did not see other people along the way, because he was one of the first people to come in, and Li Hao did not know whether the people behind him came in or not. But after walking for so long, he did not meet anyone, which still made Li Hao feel strange. Never mind. Li Hao muttered in his heart again, and regardless of anything, he continued to go in one direction without turning back. However, not far away, Li Hao saw another tree several feet high. The tree was lush and green, with branches and leaves, and there was a spiritual light flowing on the branches and leaves. It was extraordinary at first glance. What shocked Li Hao was that on this tree, there were actually several purple fruits. The fruits were very strange, like small gourds, and like small dolls. Human god fruit. When Li Hao saw these fruits, a touch of shock suddenly appeared in his eyes. As a master of alchemy, Li Hao knew all the natural treasures between heaven and earth. At this moment, he could see at a glance that these fruits in front of him were extremely precious human god fruits. This is the human god fruit tree. It has 9 human god fruits. There was a touch of strangeness in Li Hao's voice. The fruit tree in front of him was clearly a human god fruit tree, and there were already 9 human god fruits on this human god fruit tree. It takes 100 years for a human god fruit tree to mature, and 500 years to produce a human god fruit. After that, it produces 1 fruit every 100 years. After 9 fruits are produced, the fruit will be completely mature. And in front of him, this human god fruit tree has actually produced 9 human god fruits. In other words, this human god fruit tree in front of him is about to be completely mature. Li Hao looked at this scene, and his eyes were shocked again. The human god fruit is a very precious and exotic spiritual fruit. Its effect is similar to that of the god transformation pill, but it is even more powerful than the god transformation pill, especially for the soul. Li Hao looked at these human god fruits, and he couldn't help but feel excited again, and almost couldn't help but take action directly. But in the next moment, Li Hao was shocked to sense that there were several powerful auras lurking around this human god fruit tree. If it was not very close, Li Hao might not be able to sense it. Is that a demon beast? Li Hao looked in one direction again in shock, and saw that on the side of the human god fruit tree, on another big tree, there was actually a giant python hovering, with a pair of lantern-like eyes staring at the human god fruit. This was a pitch-black giant python, and this giant python actually had 2 huge heads. Li Hao felt a strong aura from the body of this giant python. It was clearly a powerful demon beast, comparable to a peak cultivator in the late Jindan realm. In addition to this giant python, there were 2 huge figures lying on the ground in the other 2 directions. It was a huge rhinoceros, with 2 horns on its head, one large and one small, releasing a pure power from its body, and the aura it exuded was clearly comparable to a cultivator at the peak of the Jindan realm. There was also a huge toad, like a small hill, with countless bumps all over its body, which looked extremely ferocious. The three monsters, each occupying one side, all had their round eyes fixed on the human god fruit. Obviously, the three monsters were waiting for the human god fruit to mature. Three monster kings. Li Hao looked at the three monsters, couldn't help but take a breath, and said with a sigh. The three monsters in front of him were clearly three monster king level monsters. I'm afraid they are much stronger than the white cat. Li Hao's heart suddenly condensed. He didn't expect to meet three monster kings directly. It seems that this secret realm is not as calm as it seems on the surface. The three monster kings also felt the appearance of Li Hao at this moment. There was a human fear in their eyes. They didn't move, but they were already wary of Li Hao. At the level of the three demon kings, they have already opened their spiritual intelligence, and their IQ is no different from that of humans. Li Hao did not make any move, and his eyes fell on the human god fruit again. However, at this moment, buzz buzz buzz, the earth suddenly shook. I saw that there was a dazzling spiritual light appearing on the human god fruit tree in front of me, and the spiritual energy in the surrounding heaven and earth was sucked towards the human god fruit tree by an invisible force. Boom! Suddenly, an extremely rich spiritual energy gathered on the human god fruit tree. Swish, swish, swish. The next moment, the human god fruit tree actually began to tremble directly, and its lush leaves kept making swish sounds. But in the next moment, Li Hao was shocked to see that the spiritual energy on the human god fruit tree seemed to condense into substance and went towards the 9 human god fruits on the tree. Li Hao also saw that the 9 human god fruits were also shining with brilliant light. Not only that, there were some strange patterns on the surface of the human god fruit, and the patterns were also flowing with spiritual light, as if containing the great truth. Then, those human god fruits actually began to shake. When the 3 demon kings saw this scene, they clearly had an uncontrollable excitement in their eyes. The human god fruit is about to mature? It's really better to come early than to come at the right time. Could it be that the maturity cycle of this human god fruit and the opening of this secret realm were all calculated based on time? I came in by myself and bumped into it. This luck is really too good. Ka! A crisp sound rang out, coming from the location where one of the human god fruits was. The next moment, a human god fruit fell directly downwards, completely ripe. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 361. The first human god fruit is ripe. This human god fruit fell directly to the ground. At this moment, boom boom boom. Powerful momentum burst out directly from the bodies of the 3 demon kings. Then, Li Hao was shocked to see that the 3 demon kings actually rushed towards the direction where the human god fruit fell at the same time. Boom! The 3 demon kings directly released terrifying power and blasted directly with unparalleled power. There is no doubt that the 3 demon kings can no longer wait for a moment, and they directly started to fight for the ripe human god fruit. They should have been waiting here for a long time. Boom! The 2-headed python was seen circling and moving, opening its 2 bloody mouths and biting towards the human god fruit. This is a 2-headed ghost python. On the other side, the rhino with its horns open also burst out with full power, with amazing momentum, rushing forward savagely, with cold light flashing on its horns, and the ground shaking with every step it took, which shows how amazing the power of this rhino is. At the same time, on the other side, the huge toad was still lying in the same place, but it opened its huge mouth at this moment, with a scarlet tongue in its mouth, and in an instant it actually shot forward directly, at a very fast speed, and even made a sound of breaking through the air. Boom boom boom. The 3 demon kings started to fight for it at this moment. Bang bang bang. For a while, the whole space was trembling, and the scene was even more shocking. The sound of collisions and roars continued to resound in this space. The three demon kings were all comparable to the peak of the Jindan realm, and their bodies were also extremely strong. In this instant, they had caused countless dust waves. The scene also became a little chaotic. Li Hao looked at this scene, his heart condensed, but Li Hao did not make a move, but looked at the other human god fruits hanging on the human god fruit tree. There were 9 human god fruits, and only one matured and fell, so there were still 8. What were these 3 demon kings fighting for? Moreover, these 3 demon kings fought desperately, without reservation, and their huge bodies kept colliding, which was pure. Perhaps, this is the characteristic of the battle between demon kings. These demon kings, once they made a move, it was a life and death battle, unlike the many tricks between cultivators. Li Hao did not intervene. Although these 3 demon kings were very strong, Li Hao felt that it was nothing. He was now a strong man in the transformation realm, and these 3 demon kings could not threaten him. However, when these 3 demon kings were fighting fiercely, on the human god fruit tree, there was another human god fruit with a shining aura, strange patterns appeared, and contained strange power. Ka! A crisp sound suddenly rang out again. Another human god fruit, completely mature, and then fell down. At this moment, the 3 demon kings were all stunned. Just when they were hesitating whether to change their target. But before they could react, a figure had already rushed towards the human god fruit. Roar! The 3 demon kings saw the scene and roared loudly. The rhino among them actually changed its target and rushed towards the human god fruit. Get out! Li Hao suddenly burst out with an astonishing cold shout, and a powerful aura of cultivation was released directly from his body. At this moment, the aura of Li Hao's transformation realm was instantly exerted, and an extremely powerful force was directly condensed on Li Hao's body. Immediately afterwards, there was a strong Buddha light flowing on Li Hao's body, and a powerful Buddhist power suddenly burst out from Li Hao's body. Buzz buzz buzz. At the same time, there was actually a sound of Sanskrit between heaven and earth at this moment. Boom! Li Hao directly slammed his palm towards the earth rhinoceros. Li Hao's figure also became extremely majestic, and a huge Buddha statue appeared on his body. A Buddha stood proudly in the world, one hand pointing to the sky and the other to the earth. I am the only one in the world. Tathagata palm. Li Hao did not say anything and directly used one of the most powerful means, Tathagata palm. As Li Hao's cultivation level improved, the power of Tathagata palm has become very powerful, which is simply incomparable. And the earth rhinoceros in front of him has thick skin and flesh. If ordinary means are used, it is probably difficult to deal with it. In order to make a quick decision, Li Hao did not hesitate to use Tathagata palm. When Tathagata palm came out, the sky and the earth changed color, and all ghosts and gods were shocked. The palm of the god came, which was simply irresistible and blasted directly towards the earth rhinoceros. At this moment, a look of fear suddenly appeared in the eyes of the earth rhinoceros. It seemed that it had made a wrong choice, and this choice was very likely to kill it. How could this human being in front of it be so powerful? This was the thought that the earth rhinoceros had at this moment. But as soon as this thought came up, an irresistible supreme force had already fallen on it. Roar! The earth rhinoceros let out a huge and painful roar. Bang! Then, the huge body of the earth rhinoceros was directly blown away by a majestic force, and then fell heavily to the ground. On the body of this earth rhinoceros, there was a palm print that penetrated its body, its internal organs were visible to the naked eye, and blood flowed all over the ground. The eyes of the earth rhinoceros were still filled with a strong despair. But in the next moment, it had completely lost its voice. The earth rhinoceros was directly killed by Li Hao's palm. Li Hao did not even look at the dead earth rhinoceros. Li Hao's figure shook and slid in the void again. Then, when Li Hao's figure stood still again, in Li Hao's hand, there was already a human god fruit. Li Hao looked at the human god fruit in his hand, and could even clearly feel the majestic power filled in this fruit. Good stuff. Li Hao sighed, and directly put away the human god fruit, and then looked at the remaining human god fruits. It won't be too late to eat them after getting them all. Not far away, the two-headed python and the toad that were fighting had stopped fighting. Instead, they stared at Li Hao with their big round eyes, which were filled with great shock. The earth rhinoceros of the same level as them was actually killed by the young man in front of them with one palm. The two demon kings were also deeply shocked by this scene. When Li Hao looked at the two demon kings again, they were immediately terrified. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 362. The two demon kings saw the earth rhino being killed by Li Hao with one palm, and there was a hint of fear in their eyes when they looked at Li Hao. Scared. The two demon kings were a little scared. However, this human god fruit is related to whether they can advance and break through, and whether they can transform. They have even been waiting here for many years. How can they give up easily? Buzz buzz buzz. But at this time, there was another tremor, and then Li Hao saw the third human god fruit on the human god fruit tree, which was ripe again and fell directly down. At this moment, the toad looked at the scene and immediately popped out its scarlet tongue again, rolling directly towards the human god fruit. Get out! But at this time, a cold voice suddenly came out of Li Hao's mouth again. A sudden burst of energy erupted from Li Hao's body, and then he pointed directly at the toad. As soon as he pointed, an extremely amazing sword intent was born, and then it turned into a shocking sword energy and blasted forward. Sizzle! The sword energy fell, crossing the space with a harsh sound. Roar! Then, the tongue of the toad was cut off by Li Hao's sword, and the toad immediately roared in pain. This human god fruit fell into Li Hao's hands as expected, and then Li Hao took it away without hesitation. The second human god fruit was obtained. But at this moment, the toad's tongue was injured by Li Hao, and his eyes suddenly turned red, and he became crazy again. Boom boom boom. The toad's eyes bulged, and his body became even bigger, like a small mountain. The momentum on his body began to rise again, and his eyes were full of anger when he looked at Li Hao. When Li Hao saw this scene, a strange color suddenly appeared in his eyes. The next moment, Li Hao saw that there was a purple spiritual light flowing on the body of the toad, carrying a powerful force and a sense of destruction. Quack! Suddenly, the toad called again, but this call was as loud as a thunder. Boom! As the toad called, Li Hao was shocked to see that there was a roar of thunder in the sky. Crack! In the next moment, a thunder fell from the sky and hit the toad directly. Bang! In an instant, there was a strong thunder flowing on the body of the toad, which made the momentum of the toad rise to the extreme, attracting thunder into the body. Li Hao stared at the scene in front of him with wide eyes. Li Hao did not expect that the toad in front of him could actually attract thunder into the body. This was like the innate skill of this toad. Boom! The next moment, Li Hao was shocked to see that the body of the toad suddenly became swollen, like a huge ball, and suddenly opened its mouth wide, and a huge ball of thunder appeared in its mouth, carrying a destructive thunder force, and blasted towards Li Hao. This scene could not help but make Li Hao feel strange again. The toad in front of him seemed to be quite ordinary, and was actually good at thunder power. This is a toad that is good at thunder power. Thunder frog. This thought popped up in Li Hao's mind inadvertently. The thunder frog is a very rare monster, and even exists in legends. If the toad that can control the power of thunder is not a thunder frog, what else can it be? Seeing the thunder ball in front of him blasting towards him, Li Hao was not panicked at all, but still stood there proudly. The power of thunder is interesting. Li Hao looked at the thunder frog and muttered. The next moment, a great power suddenly emerged from Li Hao's body. Boom! There was also a purple spiritual light shining on Li Hao's body, and a heart-pounding breath rushed directly to Li Hao's body. Buzz buzz buzz. A buzzing sound resounded in the world, and I saw that there was also thunder power in Li Hao's body, and the thunder power directly turned into a barrier to protect Li Hao's body. Bang! Another roar sound suddenly resounded. I saw that the huge thunder ball blasted on Li Hao's body, less than an inch away, and then it dissipated directly. Li Hao still stood there proudly, looking calm, and even his clothes were not messy at all. When the thunder frog on the opposite side saw this scene, a human-like disbelief suddenly appeared in its eyes. His strongest talent, the power of thunder, could not pose any threat to that guy. How is this possible? Thunder! The next moment, Li Hao looked at the thunder frog coldly again, and then shouted coldly. In an instant, a majestic thunder force suddenly burst out from Li Hao's body, and there was an endless roar of thunder between heaven and earth, and then the thunder force immediately gathered towards Li Hao's body. Words come true. Li Hao gave a command to thunder. In an instant, the area around Li Hao's body turned directly into a sea of thunder. Li Hao was bathed in endless thunder, and the whole person was like a thunder king. Go! Li Hao shouted at the thunder frog again. With a sound, the power of thunder formed a huge palm in front of Li Hao, and then grabbed it in the direction of the thunder frog. When the thunder frog saw this scene, a look of fear suddenly appeared in his eyes. Qua! The next moment, the thunder frog actually lay down directly towards Li Hao and screamed again. However, from the cry of the thunder frog, Li Hao felt frightened for a while, and it was clear that he was facing the thunder frog. Li Hao was convinced. This thunder frog lay on the ground with its whole body, but it was motionless. When Li Hao saw this, he immediately let the thunderous palm disperse without falling. Quack! Lei Wa looked at Li Hao in horror again, and let out a low cry. He looked very cautiously and looked at Li Hao pitifully, but the bulges on his body made him look a little ferocious. Do you want to recognize me as your lord? When Li Hao heard the cry of the thunder frog, he immediately said again. Quack! The thunder frog barked at Li Hao again. Ha ha! When Li Hao saw this scene, he immediately laughed again. This thunder frog actually wanted to surrender to him, obviously frightened by his own power. In that case, from today on, you will be my second spiritual beast. Li Hao said directly to the thunder frog. This thunder frog is comparable to a monk in the late stage of the Dan formation realm. If he is taking the human god fruit, it will be even more powerful. Coupled with the talent of this thunder power, it is probably comparable to a strong master. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 363. Then, the thunder frog in front of him directly handed over a drop of its essence and blood to Li Hao. Then, Li Hao directly signed a master-servant soul contract with the thunder frog. This thunder frog was subdued by Li Hao and directly became Li Hao's spiritual beast. When Li Hao and the thunder frog signed the master-servant contract, Li Hao immediately felt that there was a touch of connection between him and the thunder frog, and he could easily decide the life and death of the thunder frog. From Li Hao's move to the thunder frog being subdued by Li Hao's thunder method and signing the contract, it actually happened very quickly. On the opposite side, the two-headed ghost python saw the scene at this moment, and a trace of fear suddenly appeared in its huge eyes. The next moment, Li Hao looked at the two-headed ghost python again, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It's your turn. Hand over a drop of essence and blood yourself. Or die. Li Hao said coldly to the two-headed ghost python again. Li Hao knew that with the cultivation level of this two-headed ghost python, it would definitely be able to understand what he said. On one side, the thunder frog also looked at the two-headed ghost python with a vigilant face, with a full momentum released from its body, as if it was going to rush towards the two-headed ghost python to fight. After seeing this scene, the two-headed ghost python was also terrified, and then it lay down directly in front of Li Hao. Then, a drop of blood essence was born from the forehead of the two-headed ghost python, and then it floated directly towards Li Hao. Obviously, the two-headed ghost python also succumbed to Li Hao's tyranny. So, Li Hao directly signed a master-servant soul contract with the two-headed ghost python, and in a moment, he could control the life and death of the two-headed ghost python. When signing this soul contract, the power of cultivation in Li Hao's body was actually stronger. A human god fruit was directly caught by Li Hao. The next moment, a faint smile appeared on the corner of Li Hao's mouth, and he threw the human god fruit he had just obtained to the two-headed ghost python. "Take it and eat it," Li Hao said directly to the two-headed ghost python. The two-headed ghost python held the human god fruit in its mouth, and a look of disbelief appeared in its eyes. The other party actually gave it the human god fruit directly. This surprised the two-headed ghost python. "Since you recognize me as your master, I can't treat you unfairly. You are stronger, so you can be useful," Li Hao said lightly again, telling the truth. "Since these two guys have recognized me as their master, there is nothing to be stingy about. These two guys are stronger and are also my help." Hearing Li Hao's words, the two-headed ghost python suddenly became excited again and swallowed the human god fruit directly. Immediately, the powerful effect of the human god fruit spread directly in the body of the two-headed ghost python. Buzz. At this moment, a powerful wave suddenly emanated from the body of the two-headed ghost python. Boom. The momentum of the two-headed ghost python also began to rise at this moment, becoming stronger and stronger. Li Hao could clearly feel the amazing fluctuations coming from the two-headed ghost python, and it was clearly beginning to transform. But at this moment, another human god fruit matured and was directly caught by Li Hao. Li Hao smiled in the face of the thunder frog, and threw the human god fruit to the thunder frog. The thunder frog immediately bit the human god fruit excitedly. Then, the thunder frog's body also instantly began to rise with a powerful momentum, and a strange wave was released more and more. This thunder frog also began to transform and break through under the powerful medicinal effect of the human god fruit. Boom! An amazing breath was born from the two demon kings. After a moment, the momentum of the two demon kings slowly dissipated again, and everything returned to calm. The breakthrough was completed. The two demon kings were seen to have spiritual light flowing on their bodies. Their previous injuries were completely healed at this moment, and they became a little different. Li Hao looked at the two demon kings, and a smile appeared on his face again. Through the contract between him and the two demon kings, Li Hao could clearly feel the situation of the two demon kings at the moment. The two demon kings completed the promotion and breakthrough, and at this moment they were comparable to a cultivator in the god transformation realm. Two spirit beasts in the god transformation realm. If he faced PoortoRich again, Li Hao was even more confident. He was afraid that he would not need to take action himself, and the two spirit beasts in front of him would be able to make him miserable. Soon, another human god fruit matured. One after another. After a while, a full 9 human god fruits were all ripe. In addition to the 2 that the two demon kings ate, Li Hao still had 7 in his hand. "Guard on the side," Li Hao said directly to the two demon kings. Immediately, the two demon kings heard Li Hao's order and stood on the left and right to guard Li Hao. The next moment, another human god fruit appeared in Li Hao's hand. Looking at the human god fruit in his hand, Li Hao's eyes flashed with brilliance. Without any hesitation, he began to refine the human god fruit again. Buzz buzz buzz. A strange power suddenly emerged from the human god fruit and entered Li Hao's body. Then, Li Hao was shocked, and a mighty power directly poured into Li Hao's body. Li Hao's spirit was shaken. Invisibly, there was a pure force nourishing his spiritual power and strengthening his cultivation power. Li Hao could clearly feel that his cultivation power became stronger at this moment. Not only the cultivation power, Li Hao also felt that his spiritual power had undergone a transformation at this moment. Li Hao sat cross-legged directly, and an invisible force rushed up from Li Hao's body. Boom! At this moment, the two demon kings not far away only felt their souls tremble and their hearts palpitated. Buzz buzz buzz. But at this moment, Li Hao had a strange feeling again, and his body seemed to become light and floating. Suddenly, Li Hao was shocked to find that his body began to rise up and became illusory. But then, Li Hao saw that everything became very small. Li Hao was shocked to see that his body on the ground below was still sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. Soul out of the body. Li Hao's soul left his body. The world seemed to be insignificant at this moment, and Li Hao's perception became extremely sharp. Everything around him seemed to be unable to block his perception. What a strange feeling. Li Hao found that a mountain seemed to appear in the distance. Buzz. But at this moment, Li Hao felt as if he was hit by an invisible force. Li Hao's soul power suddenly sank down, and then fell on his body. Then, Li Hao's body suddenly opened his eyes filled with shock.